Hi, it's Lois from Polish Housewife. My assistant Debbie and I just finished up 2 weeks in the country with 16 of my blog readers. I thought I'd do a little video series to tell you about our trip, what we did, fun things that you might not have thought of if you're planning a trip to Poland. So here are some things you can add to your itinerary. So Debbie is an amazing planner. She put together a travel journal for our trip. It has our activities for every day. It has the time you're supposed to meet downstairs in the morning, a really good thing to include. And so there was no confusion. Everyone knew what we were doing. And I wanted to suggest, even if you're just traveling with extended family, something like this might be worth doing. Made life much more efficient, solved a lot of confusion. We met up in Warsaw at a hotel. Actually, we stayed at the Intercontinental Hotel. I just thought I'd tell you in part one a little bit about what we did there. We met on a Wednesday morning, but people had been coming in from the US and Canada over the weekend, Monday and Tuesday, arriving early to acclimate, and we gave them some ideas of things to do on their own. So as a group of foodies meeting up in Poland, we had to include some information about food-related market halls. So we have Hala Mirowska, sorry. Polish is not my first language or second. Hala Mirowska. This is a fresh food market, amazing to see. There's also Hala Koszki. Don't trust my pronunciation. Anyway, this is an old market hall that has been restored, modernized, keeping the old rustic charm, and all kinds of shops and bars and restaurants are in here now. This would be such a fun place to hang out. We met there for a cocktail. Well worth the trip. We also suggested, while they were on their own in Poland before the tour started, that they check out a milk bar. These are too small for us to go as a group of 18 people, but inexpensive food. These are probably better in smaller towns than in like Krakow and Warsaw. Very affordable ways to eat some really good, solid food. Lots of restaurants. Another fun thing to do, the Warsaw University Library has a rooftop garden, and you can in the library, the bottom floor itself, there are cafes, coffee shops, lots of bakeries nearby. You can pick up a pastry, a cake, coffee, take it up to the rooftop, sit there in the beautiful, lush garden, have a nice view of the city. Really a fun thing to do. There are lots of museums to see. A Copernicus Science Center. Did you know Copernicus was Polish? Life Under Communism Museum, a Polish museum about Jewish history. Yes, Debbie is Dutch, and that's why she spelled Poland that way. The Warsaw Zoo, and you might want to check out the zookeeper's wife before you visit there to give you some historical perspective. I'll also recommend, not printed here, the Museum of the Warsaw Uprising. Very informative, wonderful historical museum. Lots of good signage in English. I will also add that since my last visit to Poland, Warsaw now has a hop-on, hop-off bus tour. Something new to me. So I think these are always a great way to get a feel for the city when you first arrive and maybe kind of decide what you want to make sure you see while you're there. We hired a guide in Warsaw. We found her on the website Tours by Locals. She showed us Old Town, New Town, pointed out a lot of historical locations. We visited a church. We, of course, had to have some pastry, stop by a little cafe and sample some of the favorites. So nice to see. I had all of these on my website. We were in Old Town seeing what used to be the wall of the city. We saw war memorials. We had an amazing lunch at Pod Samsonem. It was like having a holiday meal at Babcia's house. We sampled everything under the sun. We all swore off eating, but it didn't last long. We are eating our way through Poland. So many things to try. We then walked to the Vodka Museum. We learned a lot about the history of vodka, the process of making vodka. We sampled 4 different kinds, and I found out that my favorite is potato vodka. That evening, we were at Polish Your Cooking, a cooking school that you can join as an individual, as a small group, as a large group. They do great classes. We were there for 4 hours. We divided into 2 teams. One group making Silesian dumplings, the other potato and cheese pierogi. Even those who don't cook got into the spirit of it, had a great time. It was a really fun evening. The time went by so quickly. In addition to the things that we made, they fed us well. We had a wonderful sampling of cheeses and sausages and beverages. It was a really fun time, the second time I've been, and I highly recommend. Day 2, we visited the Palace of Culture and Science. Up here, but of course, as you can see, there are hotels that'll have just as nice a view. Then we caught the train from Warsaw to Poznań. We were on the Inter City Express from Warsaw to Berlin. Poznań is the halfway point. The train was very comfortable and a nice way to see the countryside. I highly recommend.